Thank you guys for being on our first Old School Monday with CC Underwood. My name's Barry Jenkins, and Tristan is out sick today, and so they had to collect the scrub crew. Barry Jenkins, just kidding. I told CC before we started, I'm actually really excited about hearing, part of how she's grown, what processes she's used to grow. CC, tell us a little bit about your brokerage or your team right now and your brokerage. Where are you guys at currently?
We are in Jacksonville, Florida, and we also have our first expansion location in Nassau, which is about an hour north of us.
Okay.
So that's been really exciting. Last year in 2018, we sold 193 homes and just right around 47 million.
Okay.
The majority of that was done with 5 agents.
Okay. Wow. Y'all are busy.
Yeah.
You said you are or aren't out of production?
I'm out of production. I will probably sell about 5 homes personally a year. Awesome.
Yeah, that's when you've really got a business going. Well, as I said to you before we started, those numbers are incredibly impressive, and a very small percentage of agents across the country are at that level. And so I know for me, one of the things that I would love to hear about is kind of like that process. And no, I'm not asking you to pack like 10 years into one conversation, but I would love to hear about kind of like when you were first really getting the team going. Maybe some of the things that you guys did or you did individually to attract talent, like agents and admin and things like that. When you first started doing this, what are some techniques that you were using?
I wouldn't even really call them techniques. I think, in the beginning when you're growing your business, you're just like, hey, you want to team up? I need some help. I got some extra leads. I've got buyers. Can you just show them and take them, right? You start grabbing at people that you like.
Right.
And that becomes your base.
Okay.
And I did that for a little while. Some of it, of course, is from your broker or your team leader. Right. Hey, keep an eye out for me. I think the downside of that was you got into a relationship with people you liked and not necessarily people that wanted to help you grow. And so you ended up being friends and you keep them way too long, and then they're there for so long that you don't know how to get rid of them.
Yeah, that's actually happened to me.
True story.
Yep. So very like reactionary would maybe a good oversimplification of that. Like, you're just kind of like, reacting to circumstances around you. Where did you start to see kind of a change in that approach? Did you get burned, or did you just decide one day to change the way you were handling it?
Not really burned. I think I got to the point where, I think like a lot of people, you have so much turnover, and then outside looking in, people are going, what the heck is wrong with her? Why can't she keep people? Why is everybody leaving? And they start making up all these stories about you and your team. And you start to think those stories are true. It's like, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? Something.
Right.
And so I think when I look back on it, I was looking at every other team going, this is how they do. They buy leads like this, and this is the platform they use, and they have their agents in and they dial for dollars and all this stuff of how other people built their business. Mm-hmm. Never was me. Never was a dial for dollar kind of girl, and I was trying to build something I could never have.
Right.
And that was the point where we just did a whole wipeout and went down to about 2 people.
Really?
And did
interesting.
Yeah.
Man, that must have been like really, really challenging at times to kind of just strip it all down and start over in that way. And so I know for me, and I'm sure agents watching right now, they probably at times have that, like, they see someone that's successful and they try to imitate, that success. So what advice could you give to the agents watching this either live or via the recording that maybe can help them define what is their, the direction they need to go instead of just chasing what everybody else is doing? I know what I think, but I'd prefer to hear what you have to say. in regards to that?
I mean, basically, it comes down to you're hiring people, not a position.
Yeah.
You know, stop looking for a buyer's agent, a listing agent, an ISA. I mean, and don't bring people in. I hear ISAs, OSAs, telemarketers, you know, if you want to bring someone into your organization to make the calls, if you have never made the call and you are not a high converter, your expectations that they're going to come in and change your world are way overshooting yourself.
Right.
You can't bring someone to do something you aren't willing or have done.
That's actually really, really insightful because, you know, to a certain degree, we want to replace or supplement where we're weak, but at the same time, like, if we're not leading, they're not following. And if that's not a part of our culture, it's really hard to do. And I would say for me, you know, it's funny, like there's times where I've literally said this. I remember talking to somebody about how I find talent, and I'm like, do I want to talk to them every day? Like, you know, do I feel like they can learn something new? You know what I mean? Like, we're in a people business, and so it's obviously I haven't grown to your size, so I'm not saying that I know it all, but you know, there's something to be said for that, because I feel like the people that write these really detailed job descriptions on like Indeed and saying, I'm looking for a formalized, they never find them. Like, they're just like, yeah, there's no good people.
They're out there.
Yeah.
And for a lot of us too, right? We didn't go to college. Well, I mean,
right.
I went maybe like a year and a half. You know,
yeah.
We're not HR. We're not, you know, business. That wasn't our craft.
Right.
We could go out and get the job done if you need us to.
Right.
Everything else that comes with building a business, we just have to kind of fail forward and.
I love that book. Yeah. Now, going from so you stripped it all down, you went to 2 people. What did you obviously learned a lot. So how did you kind of go into that next place and fail forward, to use your phrase?
We basically got to a core and said, well, who are we? You know, who are we? Who do we want to be? And who do we want to be in business with? And I think from that moment it was, all right, I'm not like everyone else. I'm never going to be a professional realtor. I am not going to have the special pose, and I'm not going to say all the right things. I'm completely awkward on a one-on-one. You know, I'm inappropriate. And so I need to bring people and surround myself with people who are like that, who are fine with who I am. And, you know, they wanted to go out and learn how to sell real estate, not necessarily learn how to convert online leads.
Yeah, no, that's actually really insightful. I was just talking to my wife, I think a few nights ago, and I said, you know, if I ever feel like I'm with someone and I have to try to make them happy, like I'm like, oh, you know, make them happy and do this, that's probably an idea that I shouldn't keep them around. Like, that's, you know, because that's not who I am. I don't want to be around that. So you said it, you've alluded to this a couple times, and I'm interested. So, you know, that's not who I am. You know, I'm awkward, this, that, and the other. So your business, as you guys started to acquire talent, where did you decide to focus on for your business? If it wasn't online leads, necessarily just online leads, what direction did you guys go?
I mean, we stripped it down, and I went to the team, right? And I said, hey, we're getting bombarded, you know, whatever it was, we're getting 1,000 leads a month, and we're not following up, and we're all exhausted. Went to the team and said, are you okay if we take this away? Mm-hmm. You know, and they said, absolutely, yes. We're exhausted. We're converting. We're trying to call 300 people to get one deal.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of times as agents, we're afraid that if we take the leads away, we're not going to have anything to work with. But I think that's when you really get true to your value proposition, is understanding that leads aren't your biggest value proposition. It's not your biggest asset to someone. It's, are we going to be able to build? So I did build on marketing, and I stayed true to what I was good at. The marketing.
So then you said to your agents, we're going to remove this. They were cool with it. And then you said, I'm going to focus on marketing. And then and so kind of like when you're talking to them, is it the marketing is not only going to help us get business, but it's going to help market to our clients and you know, grow the business in that way, more or less?
Yes, it was. Okay. I mean, it was started with online, with TV, radio. It went into Facebook, and then we really got back into, you know, the last couple of years has been a very high focus on getting more referrals.
Okay.
And we've been able to do that.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I know most successful agents, that's a big part of their business is the working their past clients in their sphere. And so, all right. So then now you've got this team and you're not the conventional group of agents where you're saying, you're going to get 50 leads a month. You're basically saying, I'm going to do a good job. I'm going to help you market your business, this, that, and the other. How do you tell that story to agents you don't know? Or did you even try? Because at some point you're advertising to the community and agents, how are you growing as a team, agent wise, with that kind of fundamental message?
I think when, to your point, when you first said you want to be in business with people, are you excited to be in business with them?
Mm-hmm.
Truly. I mean, and I look at every single person that we meet and interview. It's, am I excited to be in business with you? It's not yeah, I want to test it out. I want to dip my toe in it. Let's just see if it works out. If you're saying those things, your answer is no. It's a yes or no. Either I'm so super excited to be in business with you and we're going to grow together, or we're not a good fit.
Okay.
It gets you in trouble. And so we decided we wanted to build it on education. You're going to come in and our story is, I'm going to teach you how to be a great realtor. I'm going to teach you how to build relationships, get referrals. And that's something that whenever you plug into our system, we're very clear that if you were to come in and truly plug in to our team, you will get more referrals. It's proven. And I think our conversation with agents has changed too, right? When teams were first being built, the value proposition was, I have an assistant. I've got a transaction coordinator. I have systems, I have a database. Well, now that's changed. That's an expectation. That is no longer a value proposition to an agent. If you're a team and you're expecting people to co-op with you and share in commissions, that's no longer a value proposition. They expect you to have that. So above and beyond, what can that do for them? A part of your attracting and hiring talent is understanding the benefits to them, not what you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's say I moved to Florida. I'm not, by the way, but let's say I did. And I walk into your office and I'm like, look, I'm newly licensed and I want to join. And you happen to be free that day. And we sit down to speak. What do you have, a form that you use to help you determine if this person's a good fit, or is it instinctive? Is it a vibe? How do you do it?
I think some of it is a vibe. People, you can call it culture, your fit, your vibe, your gut. Yes, we're doing the personality assessments. And I don't care if it says you're a good fit, a low fit, you're a high match, low match. Again, that's the position, not the person. So we always look at, I'm hiring the person. And every step of the way, it's, are you cool? Do you have that sass? We call it our humble, gritty hustlers. Are you humble?
I like that.
Egos do not exist in our world. Are you gritty? Can you grind it out? Because it's going to be 90 to 120 days before you get paid. And will you hustle? Are you willing to work hard and give back to the team as much as the team is going to give to you? So they have to be 100% on board with the team too, because if we're going to help to grow someone else's world, they also have to be 100% on board on helping to grow ours. It's a two-way street.
So it sounds to me like you're almost interviewing, there's a dimension where some agents that are a little bit more savvy come into a team and they start interviewing the team owner. And they're like, what's your split? What's this? What's that? And it sounds like you're really interviewing them. Would that be a good oversimplification in a way?
Yeah, I think it should be both ways. And you should actually look to disqualify people. You should look for more reasons to not hire them. And they should be proving to you every step of the way that they are a good fit.
Right. It's funny you bring up the personality test, because I took one and I was like, it was the DISC test, and I was like 0D, 0S, 100% INS. And I'm reading about this, and apparently I'm not supposed to own a business because I just want to make everybody happy. And I was like, wow, this is deep. And it kind of worked its way into my interviewing process because I saw the potential in everybody. And my wife would look at me and she'd be like, you know, are you sure you want to hire that person? I'm like, they'll be great. I'm going to help them. And, oh my gosh, people do not change.
And that's the thing. That's why you're hiring a people. I mean, if they don't want it, and I laugh at some other teams that they're growing, they've got people on their team like, how do I get them to work harder and make more calls? How do I do this? I'm like, you don't. Like, you don't. They have to want it first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's really interesting. All right, so so now your team, you've gone from you started over, you rebuilt this culture around hard work. What was it again? It was H's. Was it humble?
Humble, gritty hustlers.
Humble, gritty hustlers. There's so much wrapped up in that. That honestly could be like a book. I feel like that you could write because there's a lot of because on the one side people are. They're like the arrogant hustlers, and then there's the doormat people that are too humble and aren't willing to help. But then, balancing those two, that's really interesting. So you get these humble, gritty hustlers together, and now are agents starting to come to you guys, or are you still advertising to recruit? Like, what's?
It's everything. I think so. How it's evolved. First, when we were just grabbing at anyone that wanted to help us, because we needed to help. It started with that, and then being more purposeful. We did do career nights. So career nights are always a great way to get new agents. And for us, we have a great niche with new. Okay. Because again, where we started, we wanted to train and educate. So we feel that we can train and educate someone from the very beginning very well. And then it evolved to more of of course, the brokers, the team leaders, agents would raise their hand when I would teach. So getting yourself out there to teach and letting them know. It's funny, I taught a class in our office, and the most simplest question I was blown away by was, how do I ask you to be on a team? Like, how do I get to be on a team?
Wow.
And here we are thinking that, all these people, they'd want to join us, and they never raise their hands. And I think sometimes we forget, like when you're new and you see a team, you're going, oh my God, how do I get to be like that? How do I get to be a part of that?
Right.
And we, it's like, oh, you just ask us, we're people, you just ask us. And I think so just educating that you are hiring, you're telling your story all the time, that not always do we have the time to reach out to every single person. We are looking for you to raise your hand, create your own opportunities.
Right, because at that point, the type of person that's going to initiate that conversation will also be the type of person that initiates conversations for business as well in other areas. So that makes sense. So teaching, like, what do you teach at like your brokerage or at other offices? How do you handle that?
Teaching inside of our office.
Okay.
And this week we're doing a team discovery night. So this is, which is different from a career night. Career nights are geared towards people that are thinking about getting into real estate. They might be in real estate school. So very, very new. The team discovery is an education-based event that is for all brokerages. And it is truly around, how did we do it? How do you hire? What are the expenses of a team? What are the training? What are, basically in our value proposition. So one, we're educating our peers on, if you want to do this, do this. Here, here's the things to consider. Here's where we failed. And then for other people who might be attempting to do this or have been wanting to do it for a couple of years, failing forward, they may be at the point where they say, you know what, I just want to sell real estate and make good income.
Right.
And for those people, that's event-based recruiting is one of the highest forms of recruiting there is. I mean, you look at all these coaching seminars that are going on around town, right? It's event-based recruiting. And it's really smart to do that locally if that's what you're looking to do.
It's interesting. So when you do I think you called it the discovery teams, how do you advertise to your community of agents that this is a safe place to come, that you're just going to learn? Like, what's the messaging behind something like that?
I think, so for us, we did do a lot of social media and email. So a lot of associations, you'd be able to get your broker list of all the agents, and of course we get a ton of unsubscribes, right? There's people who aren't even looking, they're not looking at the email at all.
Right.
They see joining a team and they think it's, just a sole recruiting event. I also think it comes back to your reputation in the community. Do you have a reputation for giving back and educating? And we do. We consistently will give back to agents in our community. And this is something that I believe that if you have done it, teach it, teach others, because otherwise you don't know who is.
Right. Yeah. I kind of feel like the more in my business, the more I give away, even to my own competition, the more I train other brokerages, which I've done in my area without, trying to, sneak in that I'm good and you should come to me, but actually just, giving without asking. It always works out. It really does. And I'm sure that's the same for you because you're nodding your head. Yes.
100%. I mean, I think, I even did some small videos to put in our event. We created a Facebook event and promoted that, hey, one of the misconceptions of a team is that you grow a team to get rich. Like, we're going to go over the expenses.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not true. Yeah. Especially when, at the end of the day, really, when you're buying a lot of leads, it's really the software companies that end up making a lot of money, not the team. And so that's interesting. Now, what about, so that's you teaching in the area, that's, people that you come into contact personally. Is there a certain segment of the unlicensed that you've had good success with? Because you said that like unlicensed people are kind of like your niche. Is there a direction that, so somebody that's just starting out that maybe they should focus on?
Schools. If there are real estate schools in your area that will allow you to go in on maybe the graduation day, their test day, and provide lunch and give a 5-minute spiel on, hey, what is the value? What does a first year in real estate income look like on your own versus what it could look like on a team, where you're going to get a 5-year education in 12 to 18 months, and you're going to be able to make money while you do this. Is that something that you'd like to do? The schools are great because it's also great for your time. If you are a producing agent who's looking to grow, your time's valuable. So you can get a room of, 15 to 30 agents and potentially get 5 or 6 to talk to.
Sure.
So that's always good.
Do do the schools in your area charge you for any of that, or is it not?
You just bring lunch. Our main school here is a neutral school, so they don't allow it. There are some colleges. That would be a good place to go. Okay.
I have found, so like I had a career changers program where, people that I wanted them to feel like a winner because, you're a part-time agent. And so I was helping people transition. And I don't know if it was just happenstance, but man, I have had a large crop of people that have come from the food service industry. They were used to making $40,000 to $50,000 a year. And so then, they have this dream of becoming a professional. And, if you're a good server, you got to be in touch with people, how they feel, their nuances and stuff. Have you found that to be something that's similar or not really? Or
I think service industries, they have a core. So when we're looking at who's going to be a good fit for us, right? If you're looking to build a relationship-based business, if you hire a bunch of Ds and you think that someone that's going to be a driver and close them hard is going to be who you need, you could be missing the boat on that. So that kind of comes back to knowing who you're looking for and what kind of business you're looking to build. So you have a nice mix of people of great personalities. You're going to need nurturers. Nurturers might not be, writing deals in their first 30 days. However, they are going to have a significant pipeline in 90 days.
Right.
So you have to look at their personality and their strengths differently in the time frame for their sales, and just look at them as a person and say, all right, you might right off the bat write contracts, but in 6 months, you're going to have the same end result because of your strengths.
Absolutely. So, you're getting my wheels to spin for my team. I feel like I'm getting a free coaching session. So this actually really worked out. With, when because I remember when I first started the team, it was because I was too busy. Mm-hmm. And so the thought of what type of team do I want to be really didn't happen until I started to fail and it got hard. And I had to, kind of like what mine wasn't as dramatic, but it was still a moment where I was like, okay, who am I? Where am I going? What are some ways, because see, some people are just really good at being an agent. And then they think, well, the logical promotion now is now I'm going to become a team. And I'm wondering if maybe some of those agents, some of them should build a team, but then if you could speak to Cece when you first started and you started to grow, what would be some advice you would give to the people that are just really busy and now they're just growing to a team because they're busy? If you were to speak to yourself a while back, what are some things you wish you would have known to help prevent, the fact it'd be great if we could avoid crashing and burning before we become the Phoenix,
I don't know. I think if you haven't had a total wipeout in your career, it's going to happen. I think it's inevitable because the person you started out when you're growing the team, you may grow into someone in 3 to 5 years. And I think that's that's what it comes down to. You as the rainmaker, the leader, you changed at such a great pace that the people that you originally surrounded yourself with, they weren't ready for that ride. They wanted to take a lead and help you out. Right. And that's a completely different skill set. If you want to open a door and get paid, well, maybe that's not a full-time buyer's agent. That's not what I had in mind. And the more you learn, the more you get clear on, yeah, I did this wrong. I need to, I just got to reboot.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something you just go through.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, and I'm sure agents listening did this too, but because I was coming to this not really valuing my value proposition as a team owner, as an agent. I was just giving away the farm. And then when suddenly you wake up and you're like, wow, you know what? I'm important, not in a cheesy way. What I'm doing for my agents is important. And then you try to restructure things to be more oriented towards a successful business. Those people that started off with you, I've had it happen. They started with you and then, you go to that next place and this new agent is thrilled with whatever the split is. Let's use that as the example. They're like, oh yeah, this is great. You're going to do all this and I get X amount of percentage. Oh, thank you so much. But then the agents that started with you are like, oh my gosh, when we first started, I was going to get so much more. And to me, I just kind of let go. I'm like, you know what, if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. Is that good advice, do you think? I mean, is that how we should handle it, really?
I think so. And I think that those conversations are learned too, right? It's how to stop being in business with people to the point where that conversation, that is a caring conversation of, look, I know that I've changed. I am not the person. I am not you've gone from a realtor to a business owner. Is this something that you're on board with? To me, that's just a great conversation to have someone this is where I'm headed. I get the feeling that it's not something you're on board with. Am I right?
Wow. Yeah, that's, so I'm hearing a theme that honestly I would love. I don't even know if they're going to let me come on next week when they interview you, but I know for me, one of the things that I'm hearing a lot from you is that you're very self-aware with your business. And I feel like self-awareness is a gift. It's not something, you got to learn it. And once you have it, because I'm watching you step out of the circumstance over and as I'm listening to your journey, because I've never spoken to you before, and listening to your journey, that seems to be a theme. Would you say that's a correct oversimplification?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's something that you learn, and you learn to love to watch other people take over your business. I was one that I think in the beginning, again, we go through that transition. We don't want to let go of it. When you do get the right people, man, you want to give it to them as much as possible. You want to watch them make all the mistakes and fail forward. And just on the hiring piece, when you do get the right people in and it starts to be kind of that, hey, things are clicking, they're going, that they become your main source. If your people are not referring other people to join your team, look at the reasons why and ask them, say, all right, why is it that you just don't want anyone to join us? Are we not someone you would refer your friends to, right? Just like we would in our business, they should be your number one source of referrals. And today, that's true. There's only one person on our team that was not a referral. And
interesting.
It will evolve.
Yeah, because see, I give all my agents leads. And the other day I asked them, I said, are you guys slammed yet? Are you ready for me to hire some more agents? And of course, they all said no. So I think I might have, I'm taking notes over here. Well, we've gone a little bit over. Jeffrey did comment, and he said that he's going through something similar, and he would rather have an agent who is somewhere else before me. They know how bad it can be. So kind of dealing with the people that, they understand what they're being given, and they appreciate it. So that's a great comment, Jeffrey. Honestly, I kind of wish we could keep going, but I know that they have a schedule with this stuff, so I don't want to abuse it. So we're going to be doing this next week as well, right? 2.0 of this. So I know I want to hear more about self-awareness in the business, because my hunch is that is probably one of the reasons why you're growing so fast, is because you're aware, you see a problem, you deal with it, you move on. So I would love to grow in that area personally. I'm sure others would too. So any closing, remarks or anything you want to share with us to make sure that we hit it hard this week?
I think you mentioned it. It comes back to your value proposition, and, think about it. The reason someone joined you will be the reason they leave when they stop getting it, or it's less than what they thought. So really look at what is it that you offer someone truly, and answer the question, why would someone get to be in business with you? If you don't know it, it's going to be hard for them to understand it.
Man, that's huge. That's huge. Well, I know I've grown in this 30 minutes, so I appreciate the free coaching session, CC. And I know that people are going to be commenting this in the watch party later. So if you have a question for CC, tag her in the comments, and I know that she'll be happy to answer. So thank you. We really appreciate you sharing with the community. It's huge. And I thank you as well, because I got a few nuggets out of that. So awesome stuff. So, yep. Have a good.
Thank you so much.
Yep. All right. Have a great day, everybody.